Okay, showtime is here. Awesome.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome. It is Ask Me Anything Monday with JVology, and I am your host, Krista Inakovsky, and I am really looking forward to today's guest and our conversation today, because not only is Lauren a great person, we've become friends, but what she's going to be talking about is highly, highly valuable and relevant to most all of you out there, which is why I was busy posting that this was happening today, because I want to make sure that the eyeballs that need to see this and get this information are going to be here and present. So not to give it all away at the beginning, but I will let you know that we're going to be talking about how to continue to, or how to get some type of funding or help, or what those resources are in light of COVID-19 and what that's done to businesses. So we will dive into that in just a second. I'm going to give our fabulous JVology intro to kick us off. And now it's official. There it is. Well, hi, Lauren. How are you today?
I am great. How are you?
Doing really good. And we are both in Florida, sunny Florida.
We are. And not everybody is at the beach. We just want to clarify that some crazy people are, but I actually spoke to Krista yesterday and I did a drive-by at the beach and my mom said, "You're not getting out of the car, right?" I said, "Mom, I promise I'm just driving. I just want to see the water." But not everybody is crazy going to the beach right now, right, yeah. Krista?
Right. Are the beaches near you? You're in South Florida, right? Are the beaches near you?
No, they're closed.
Okay.
No, they're closed. Actually, it was really interesting. I've never seen this before. There were barriers across all the grass. So the boardwalk, the walking part was open. And then there's barriers between the walking part on the grass and the beach. So you couldn't even get past that. And all of the parking spots were blocked off. There were officers and sheriff's department everywhere. All the parking spots, not just on the beach, but along all the side blocks and everything. And they were stopping people, and oh yeah, they're really, and that was in Deerfield Beach, which is just a tiny bit south of Boca Raton, which is where I am.
Wow, that's really interesting. I didn't think about them really barricading it off officially, where people can't even walk through. I'm pretty sure it's specific to each beach that they get to choose the level of whether they're open, or if it's, I've heard some are a walking only, like you can't sit and camp out, but you can take a walk, which I think is nice. People need nature, they need fresh air, and if you're not touching anybody else or too close, then why not? But it's that gathering that becomes the problem, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think we'll be going to concerts for a while.
Oh, well.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
I guess.
Well, yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, it's just so everything is so crazy. The whole world has gone crazy. But there's a lot of good stuff. I mean, JVology, we did the 5-day JV Jumpstart last week. I had 2 calls from that today alone, both with Canadian new partners of mine, which is awesome because I'm originally from Canada, as you know, and I love Canadian partners because I, every other day of the week, move people around the world like Jay and help them to build their business outside of their home country or to expand into other markets. So that's what I do in my regular day entrepreneur life.
Yes, well, let me give you everyone who's watching, a little bit of an intro as to who Lauren is. That'll give you some context as to the questions that you are more than welcome to ask us, and we would love for you to comment live. And the best way to do that, if you are watching this from another group or from my page or Lauren's page, if you go to the original post, you'll see it is from Jay Facette. He is the owner and leader of JVology, which is where this show is being broadcast from. If you go to Jay's original post, and you can open up the video. And if you comment there, then I'll be able to see your comments. Let Lauren know so that we can answer your question specifically and even pop your question up on the screen with us. So while I'm introducing you to Lauren, go ahead and find that original post so that you can engage with us. So as I mentioned, we're really happy and proud to have Lauren Cohen here as a guest with us. She is a turnkey international legal expert and business community strategist. She helps online and offline business owners successfully navigate domestic and global expansion by protecting the soul of their businesses so that they can invest, work, live, and play anywhere in the world. And we love that because we are a big group of nomadic people who like to
global. I mean, everywhere.
Yes.
Right. I'm talking to somebody from South Africa, somebody from Australia, all from JVology. I mean, I talk to people from all over the world every day of the week, but it's just cool when it comes through one of my favorite people, Jay, and obviously now you as well. But, you know, it's so great. The people in your community and our community are awesome. And there's a difference. Like, there's so many groups that you can choose to be a part of in this world today. But right now, it's really all about the right people and the right mix of people, fun, and profits, right? I think I got it.
Yes, you sure did. Our Fun JVology tagline is the perfect mix of people, fun, and profits. And Jay strategically put the word fun in front of profit because we're just huge advocates of life has to be fun and enjoyable. And now in this day and age, I mean, we're feeling it more than ever, how we are able to connect with people all over the world because we're, in a sense, forced to work through the internet, which means we're talking to people everywhere all the time. And so having someone like Lauren as a resource and some that can be on your team and your advocate as an attorney, teaching you how to do business the right way across borders is critical at this stage when you're looking to grow your business and have, do business from place to place. So before I know we're going to get into the COVID-19 stuff, but why don't we just spend a few minutes talking about this more of a global connection?
Absolutely, for sure. That would be a pleasure. I love talking about global connections. And, I'm originally from Toronto. I found my way to South Florida, which a lot of other people have done, and I've helped a lot of people do. And I help people do that from everywhere in the world. Obviously, I have a special affinity, hi Jay, for Canadians because I am one. I admit I'm a dual citizen, but I also admit, as Jay knows, that right now I would prefer to be in my hometown of Toronto, Ontario, Canada, because I just would feel just a little bit safer. And my mom would be much happier, I'll tell you that. But here we are. I do have a pool. I swim every day. I can't complain. But it really brings me great joy to help people find solutions so that they can expand globally and not hit roadblocks in their path. And that's the key, is that there are so many roadblocks that we may or may not be aware of, whether we're running events or whether we're speaking or whether we're making real estate investments or whether we're closing transactions or buying businesses or investing in businesses. Every step of the way, there could be roadblocks that can be overcome pretty easily with the right guidance. And the beautiful thing is that within this JVology community, myself and Heather Pierce Campbell, who's a dear friend, she and I kind of complement each other on so many levels because Heather is the legal website warrior and I'm the global expansion strategist. And when you're expanding globally, you really have to pay attention to all of those legal disclaimers, the requirements, your website. People don't realize that, and just because you have a website that's housed in Canada or the US, that doesn't mean that you don't need to pay attention to all of these other requirements. And that's part of your global expansion strategy. So that's just another example of a joint venture between lawyers. Now, who would have thought, right, that two lawyers could actually want to work together and love doing it and really enjoy getting to know each other and sharing ideas. So that's the beauty of this community.
It really is. And that's one of the things that draws me to JVology the most is that collaboration trumps competition every single time. And
yes,
as long
absolutely.
as you find a connection that you like the other person, you can find ways to collaborate, to share, and you know your niche. And for example, Heather knows her niche. And that way you can thrive in what you do specifically. And you even share the same customer as part of their journey, but you're helping them. Let's talk about that for just a minute, Lauren. We are in this world of doing business anywhere and everywhere. So what if all of a sudden you start either having customers that are overseas, or you're going to speak or do an event or get paid overseas? When do they need to actually come to you and look at this more, strategically?
The truth is they should come to me at the beginning before they actually start taking those clients from the other countries. And they should also come to me at the time when they're actually making those steps. So the best thing, and one of the things that I love focusing on now, because people are like, oh, well, we can't go anywhere. I had, for example, at the very beginning, I had 3 contracts signed right before this started, and 2 of the 3 canceled. One of those 2 has come back and said, now is the time. And I'll tell you what, now is the time. Because if we don't plan now, we're going to get stuck when it's too late, or we're already in the throes of expanding globally, because this will, life will go back to a new normal, and we will be running events globally. Now, there is a difference between being in Canada and taking on US clients, and being in Canada and running events in the US where you get paid in the US, or being in the US and having real estate investments in Canada, or being from the UK and having real estate investments in the US, or doing deals or transactions or buying businesses or doing mergers. So it's all about, there's kind of, there's a level of discretion involved. There's no hard and fast, like this is how it is. But the reality is that you need to look at each case individually and say, well, we're doing a lot of business in the US. If you're just going and running, speaking at one event, probably not a big deal. But once you're speaking at multiple events, or getting paid to speak, or running events of your own, or have a few real estate investments, if you have one property, let's say in Florida as your vacation home, probably not a big deal. But if you have multiple properties and you're running it as a business, it becomes a big deal. And so the key of working with somebody like myself, because I am a business strategist and a legal expert, I focus not only on the immigration component, but also on the business component. So a lot of people, even immigration lawyers, come to me. I'm actually starting a coaching program for lawyers to help them understand how to guide their business owners through the business side. Obviously not for business lawyers, although not all business lawyers understand business. They understand the legal components, right? The beautiful thing about working with somebody like me is that it's both, because I've been writing business plans for 20 years, helping businesses scale and grow, and have that legal side as well. So it's truly a comprehensive kind of one-stop shop, and I bring in all the experts to help with all the different components that are needed.
And and Jay and I were having this conversation just the other day, that now is the time to do the kind of the nitty gritty behind the scenes work. I know you love this, but like he and I are the kind who don't. Like, we don't like paperwork.
He does not like the paperwork. There's no way.
There's certain personality types that are just like, God, please don't make me track my.
That's how I feel about marketing. That's why I come to you. I'm like, what do I do with this? Oh my God, it's like too much. It's hysterical how you just have your niche, and my 4 words, Krista, as I'm sure you've heard me say when I speak, is stay in your lane. And the reality is that those of us that know how to stay in our lane and delegate or designate or joint venture or partner with people that can do the things that we can't do, that's when we're going to be the most successful. And one of our mutual colleagues talked about me the other day. He's actually hired me as well to do a visa. And he said, there's a big difference between hiring the cheap and cheerful and hiring the person that will be there when you need her or him, whenever you need her or him. Like Jay will tell you, there's never been a time when he has asked me a question that I haven't answered, sometimes to a fault. And yesterday I was told off about it because I'm not as good at the boundaries part, because I care so much about my clients. So, and it's important because I want to be accessible to them, because this is what they're missing, and they need that person, right? They need that hand holding. It's a big deal when you're moving across countries or across continents or across oceans, and it's big.
It is, and trusting someone to put the legalities together and guide you in a space that you're not, like for me, I would not be at all comfortable with that. I know that Jay trusts you in putting all this together for him. I'm part of that team, and get to see you work and work with you. It just puts me at ease that, okay, Lauren's got this. She knows what to do. And I'm not going to stress myself out about it because it's just not my wheelhouse in the least.
Right, exactly.
And what we were saying is use this time that we're in shutdown. This is not the time to say, oh, well, I can't travel, so I don't need to talk to an international attorney about how to make my business relevant and safe and legal. This is the time to do that stuff so that once we're back open and flying across borders freely, that everything's done and it's in place and you know what you're doing at that time. So this is definitely now to start those conversations. At least ask, do I need your advice and services and counsel?
Right.
All right. So I do want to pivot to COVID. So I'm going to just kind of get everyone up to speed here. Lauren was saying that in light of the COVID crisis, she's pivoted her own business and offers a wide range of services related to business continuity and the coordination of funding solutions and pivoting strategies for business owners across North America. She's also a realtor with eXp and a best-selling author and regular contributor, a podcast and regular radio show guest. So I want to really open up this question of what can we do? Especially for people whose businesses have been forced to close down.
Yeah. So, yeah. I use a word. It's a Hebrew word originally from Polish, so you may have heard it before, Krista, and Russian, balagan. And balagan means a big mess. And the truth is that all of this funding, it's not as bad in Canada. So I want to address that. There's confusion in Canada, but most of the funding is either from the government or direct from a financial institution through the government. And you can apply for certain loans, and the money is coming through various channels. And if you have certain income from 2019, you qualify, and it's a much more simple, streamlined process, probably because they're not dealing with 350 million people. It's 1/10 of the population, and Canadians are just a more compliant people. Okay, so put that out there. But in America, about 3 weeks ago, the CARES Act, Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act came out, and the intention was, and I say this in quotes, to help impact small businesses across America. Small businesses are defined as businesses with under 500 employees. So the money came out, $467 billion, and the money ran out last Thursday. So there were lots and lots and lots of issues around the money. There were people that, like myself included, that couldn't file for the Paycheck Protection Program, which is one of the arms of the loan program, because the bank had a glitch in their system. There are people that didn't realize that they could be eligible for the Economic Impact Disaster Loan, so they didn't apply. There are people that thought they were going to get a $10,000 grant, which is what we were told, which then changed to $1,000 per employee. But then they shut people out. If you didn't get it by Thursday, you're not going to get it, at least not that allocation. However, on the weekend, 3 of my clients had their credit pulled by the SBA. So who knows what all is going on? There will be more funds allocated, yes. However, here's the big challenge. There are some companies, and it's very public. Ruth's Chris is one of them, that received $20 million or was offered $20 million through this program. Now, Ruth's Chris is a very large company. They have way more than 500 employees because each restaurant generally takes about 80 to 100 staff members. There's 4 locations in South Florida alone. So we're done with the 500.
2 or 3 here in Central Florida. Yep.
Okay. So, and actually there's more than that many. There's probably about 8. But anyway, the point is that we know that they are not under 500, but they got this allocation of funds. And apparently there was some manipulation and, little adjustments to make them qualify. Same thing happened with Shake Shack. The difference is Shake Shack gave the money back. So I don't know how they got the money exactly, but they decided, and this was a great publicity stunt that they pulled, because now people are like, oh, they're not so greedy. But the problem is that a lot of the real small businesses got left out, a lot. And not only that, but even the ones
independent mom and pop stores who their whole world, their whole life, it's usually family members that are working for them, and then the kids down the street, and that's who needs our support right now.
Right. And unfortunately or fortunately, they're not pulling the strings. So things did not happen as they were intended or supposed to or expected, or whatever the case may be. So what happens now? What happens now? You were left out. I applied for both types of funding. I have a small business. I'm the only employee of my business, but I am an employee. And what happens now, especially in Florida, the unemployment situation is very challenging. We'll just use that word. And people are just getting left in the cold. There are people lining up for food. There are people lining up for shelter. I mean, it's a bad situation. And then there's these companies that are getting all this money. So what do you do? So there is other money available. Today, I actually have a resource guide that is being published. We're sending out a broadcast email about this resource guide, which has a whole ton of loans and grants available in it. And it's available for a pretty nominal price. But the reality is that if you purchase the grant and loan guide, you will receive the updates, which we're going to be doing regular updates. So there is money available through some companies, like Facebook has a grant, Amazon has a grant, Google has a grant. I mean, a lot of these online-oriented businesses have grants available. There's a grant through the Hebrew Loan Association, and you don't have to be Jewish to qualify. There's a lot of money available, and there's also loan money available both at the state level and federally. There's the SBA Express loan. There's a lot of stuff, but the key is that what I recommend to everybody is to set up a funding and pivoting session, because there's two parts of this. One is getting the money. There's actually three. One is getting the money. Two is allocating the money so you can potentially have loan forgiveness. And three is, how do you pivot your business and use that money as effectively as possible? And that's the third one, is the key to your short and long-term success.
There's a lot of strategy behind this. Lauren, can you see the link I posted? Is this the one that is relevant to what you're talking about right now? Or is that something different?
So that link is for my international website. I don't think I shared the link with you, Krista, about to set up a funding and pivoting session. I will do that right now.
So while it's up, and if you are asking questions or have questions about the international portion that we talked about earlier, viewers, go ahead and grab this URL, and you can reach out to Lauren that way. And then, yes, Lauren, if you'll share with us the link. All right, I'll grab that. Perfect.
Thank you.
All right, so I'll post this, and tell us again what this will be. Actually,
so this link is to set up a
there we go. It's in
this
the comments.
link is to set up a. Okay, cool. I don't think I can. Oh, I can. I see there's questions. Okay, now I see. Now I see what's going on. Okay, I'm not as familiar with StreamYard, but so the fact of the matter is that people are frustrated, and I understand that. One thing I recommend is, if you haven't applied for the Paycheck Protection Program yet, and you are in the U.S., you should, because there are still financial institutions, PayPal and Intuit, QuickBooks, for example, that are still taking applications, because the money, there will be more money allocated according to all sources. It's just a matter of when. Those of us that have our Paycheck Protection Program applications in, they're still pending. Unless they've been denied. Your economic impact disaster loan, I don't know what's going to happen with that, but we are expecting another allocation there too. They're also talking in the U.S. about a $2,000 a month stimulus until the end of the year, and for potentially forgiving mortgages and rent. Okay. So What's going to happen there? I don't know. The stimulus money, if you were eligible for it, you'll get it automatically. You don't have to apply for it. That's stimulus money that has to do with your income and what your tax return was. Michelle, question about Canadian financing. Do you know who's that available to? I heard the rules changed again. So if the rules changed again, I will admit that I don't know the new rules. I only know as of Friday that you have to have had payroll of, I think, $5,000 in 2019 to qualify for the funds. And then there's SBC, Small Business Development Bank of Canada. That's the main institution, but most financial institutions have $40,000 loan available at a very low rate. So try that as well, Michelle. All right, and there's a lot of unemployment benefits. And you're in Alberta. I'm from Ontario. So look in your everything is very, very public in Canada. That's kind of clear, and there's not a lot of confusion. It's kind of like, this is what it is. This is where you apply. This is what it is. This is where you apply. So there's money, right? Yeah. So yes, the Prime Minister comes on TV every day and talks to Canadians. So we'll just leave it at that.
All right. So back to the resource guide that you've put together. You're able to help guide an individual based on whether they own a business, how many employees, whether how their business has been affected. There's different, I would imagine, I guess I'm asking, are there different stipulations that will position someone to go, that you would suggest them take one route versus another?
Well, I would always suggest that everybody look through every single one of the grants that's listed on there to see if some of them apply to you, because they're well could be, whether you're a for-profit business or a nonprofit business. I also posted on LinkedIn about 2 weeks ago, Michelle, this could be relevant for you. I posted an article on LinkedIn that had a list of grants North America wide that was then available. It's since expanded, which is why I've created this resource guide, but that was a free resource available to you. So it's on LinkedIn. It's also in my Facebook group, which I think, Krista, you have the link for the Facebook group, right?
I have.
So that Facebook group is a free resource. Sorry, my son just walked in. Honey, I can't talk right now. I can't talk right now.
That's the beauty of this.
Honey, I'm sorry. I can't talk right now.
We all have plenty
Krista.
No. I was going to say, during this time, we all know that this is the life that we live in.
Just keeps talking.
And it's totally fine. Like, it's just kind of opened up. The boundaries are down, and things can happen.
He doesn't even stop. He just keeps talking. Okay.
I get
anyway,
it.
I was saying that the grant resource. So the group is a great place to go. First of all, there's a lot of networking going on in there. But on top of the networking that's going on, because I actually had somebody join our EXP team today that I met in the group like 3 days ago, a lawyer that I hadn't seen in years. So things are definitely happening in the group, and you guys can, I'm making special posts for different categories each day. One day I talk who's a lawyer, because obviously there's a lot of lawyers. Yeah, he's 26. That's hysterical. I love it. Okay, thank you for sharing. Okay. As I was telling Krista yesterday, I'm not going to be so stressed out about it. I'm just like, okay, just keep talking. It's like, he's not hurt, right? Okay.
That's all we can do right now. And just know that everybody watching is empathetic, because they're either in the same situation or they know that it's the day we live in right now, and it's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I want you to complete your thought, and then I want to give you a little background on Christine's question. So finish your thought, and then I'll pivot over to Christine.
Sure. So I was talking about my Facebook group, which is called Pivot or Perish, and I know Krista has the link, and I know she's in it. And it's really I'm posting resources on a daily basis, free resources. I will be creating coaching programs from there. But right now it's a free Facebook group, and you can access resources. People are sharing resources with each other. It's around 700 and something members already, and growing. And we'd love to have you join and access some of these resources. That the grant document I published 2 weeks ago is available in there, as is my interview with Jay from last week. And on Friday, I published an article about the SBA Express loan, which you guys can check up on. It's not as good as the disaster loans, but it is available, and it's a 36-hour turnaround for a decision, not for the funding, for a decision. So in 36 hours, you'll know if you get that, which is really cool. So yes, Christine's the background for.
Okay, so Christine is a local business owner here in Central Florida, everything wellness and yoga with events. They bring everything to corporate events. And so that has come to a screeching halt. All of the amazing contributors that she has have nowhere to work because there are no live events happening. And so she's asking about the paycheck protection, but she's here in the States. So give us a little bit of...
Easy.
Okay.
So no, you don't have to have a $5,000 a month payroll to qualify for paycheck protection. It doesn't matter what your payroll is, as long as you have payroll. Now, there are two types of paycheck protection, but if you had W-2 employees, that's the easiest one. And the way they determine the amount that you're eligible for, even though at this very moment it's closed, okay, you should still apply. We can be happy to connect with you and help you through that process. But it's 2.5 times your average monthly payroll from last year. So if that is something that you want to apply for, they will have payroll forgiveness, loan forgiveness, at least 8 weeks. And you have to prove that you had employees as of February 15th and show your 940s and 941 tax filings from last year. You don't have to have filed your tax return from last year, but you have to be able to show your payroll returns. So that's the requirement there. I hope that helps, Christine.
Great, thank you. She is saying thank you so much.
Yes, I see. Thank you.
Yes.
Of course. And look, this is what I do. I mean, I will be honest with you. I did not know that I was going to be, funding is one of my 7 pillars of a successful business that's built on a strong foundation, funding and capitalization. But the important thing is that now I realize that my people, my tribe, which is growing, as Jay said, you have a tribe. Like, I guess I do. So my tribe is dependent on people. Like, we need to be able to rely on people to bring accurate information. And that's what I try to do every day of the week. There's a lot of misinformation out there and a lot of inaccuracies. So the key is within this group, I'm not allowing everybody to post, but the posts that I'm allowing are posts that I'm vetting to make sure that they're legit and so on and so forth. And there's no, hard selling or anything like that. But if you didn't apply. That's all I can tell you. The worst that can happen is that you get denied. And if you don't try, you don't know.
Okay, good point. So Michelle was kind enough to pull your Facebook group and put the link. I've got it posted up here. If you're in the comments, you'll be able to have a live link. You can just push that. And that is the Pivot or Perish Facebook group that you're inviting us to join to ask questions and see more of the resources that you have available for us.
And also you can connect with me there as well, or on Facebook, of course, or on LinkedIn. And I'm happy to share all the free resources with you. Look, the truth is that we really are in this together. And if we're not willing to help each other, I mean, if I'm not how does it go? If I'm not for myself, then who am I? Or I don't remember. But basically, we have to. I think that right now is super, more important than ever for us to be reaching out and bringing people in. Maybe not physically, but definitely emotionally and spiritually, and in business to help people, to help them. If you bring them up, then you have to help everybody. And I think that that's super important.
I agree completely. And really taking this time to look deep within yourself, do the work that you're wanting to do, ask the deep questions of where am I in my life? What's going on? And what are we creating when the doors open again and we're all out and about in businesses, big, small, medium, all sizes are up and working. What changes are there going to be? What are we creating right now that's going to be really making this situation that's uncomfortable for everyone worthwhile in the long run? When we get out there and we've created something, we go, wow, we did something. We took time to create something better, more sustainable, more loving, more connected, whatever those words are. But ask yourself what is going on for you and how are you looking to create better for you and your business and the people that you do affect and want to affect moving forward.
So look, I'll just say my parting words, that is, ask questions, don't assume. And even though I'm a lawyer, the clock doesn't start the minute you say hello to me, as you know, Krista. And I'd rather you to ask the questions than to avoid them, because you need the answers. And this goes for expanding your business globally and accessing funding and pivoting your business. Because at the end of the day, they're all interconnected, because you can't expand globally unless you have a strong foundation and you're able to pivot successfully. Because you have to be, you know, a lot of the business owners that I've worked with over time, they're not only is their business at stake, their visas are at stake. We have to make sure the business is not marginal so they can keep their business intact, their visa and their life. So there's a lot at stake for clients and business owners. And I'm very empathetic to that, because I myself am one. And thank you, Krista, for the opportunity to be here. And anybody that has questions after, ask them, ask Krista, ask me, join my group. Michelle, I think you're part of the group. Christine, I hope you'll join, and everybody else that's watching. And thank you again.
Yeah, absolutely. And this video is being shared in a lot of different groups. So go ahead and ask your questions, and we'll scan through and look for them. But reach out to Lauren if you have specific questions, and set up an appointment to have an analysis done and see what can be done for you. And then kind of a little bit of a lighter note, because that's a lot. It's a lot. It's a heavy space to be in, and I give you a lot of credit for taking this on as your warrior project, Lauren. I appreciate that. On a little bit of a lighter note, what we're doing at JVology to help people expand their business, look at how to grow during this time of reframing. If your business does not work 100% online, you're trying to figure it out fast. And so over at JVology, we've been running a 5-day challenge to get 5 JV partners in 5 days. And we've kind of gone through that at this point, and I'm doing a couple of big master classes this week. So I'm going to throw in, I think I did it already, our Facebook group. Here it is. So you can come over to our Facebook group, the JVology public page, and join. I will let you in. You can see what kind of activity is going on. But it has been incredible. I mean, we've had, I believe, 1,000 in the high, close, I think right around there. Michelle, if you're watching, you want to give us an accurate number. People that have been participating in this from all around the world. I mean, we have Australia, New Zealand, Germany, parts of Africa, of course, the US and Canada. And these are business owners, entrepreneurs, thought leaders, authors, a lot of different coaches and consultants have all come together to meet one another and learn from Jay Facette how to do profitable joint ventures. Just like you were talking at the beginning of the show, how you and Heather, who are both attorneys, have learned how to joint venture by you having your niche. She has her niche. You don't cross, you don't compete, you share just the right way, and it works out for everyone. Well, we do that with all types of professionals. And we've got two great master classes coming up later this week. So if you join the group, we can get you informed, in the know as to what day and times are. I'm not going to try to remember it off the top of my head, but I promise they're worthwhile. They're on Zoom and you can join us. So if you're in that spot of being a business owner, entrepreneur, coach, author, speaker, consultant, JVology is the place for you to come, to belong, to play, to grow your business, and to expand your way of thinking in so many different levels.
And talk to Jay. Oh my God. He will expand your way of thinking. And hey, Krista, Michelle asked for you. I can't post in the live comments somehow, but Michelle asked for you to repost the eCounsel link. So I put it back in the private chat there.
Got it.
So, and listen, I'll just remind you guys, I am Canadian, and Canadians love working with me, and I love working with Canadians, not only Canadians, but you know, I'm Canadian, and I have a special affinity. So, and by the way, I don't even know if you know this, Krista, but I'm going to share my book.
Oh yeah, please.
So this book I wrote in 2017, it went to #1 on Amazon, and it's called Finding Your Silver Lining in the Business Immigration Process. And it covers all of the main business visas into the US, Now, some of them are bilateral, meaning that whatever country has the availability, like Canada has all the visas available, except the green card lottery, but that's another story. But anyway, a lot of these visas are bilateral, meaning Americans can go into Canada, Canadians can go into America, Americans go into Britain, Brits can come into America, Americans can go into Israel, Israelis can come into America. Not every country has all the visas. Brazil, no. China, no. India, no. South Africa, no. So Russia, no. So this is why it's so important if you're from another country and you're doing business across borders to talk with somebody who really understands the ins and outs. Even if you're running an event in another country, because I know one of our colleagues had a challenge. 12 of her attendees were not able to get to her event in London. And this is the kind of thing I was hoping to be an event visa consultant when this all happened. So events are not happening live right now, but I am here as a resource because they will, and we cannot wait. So thank you again. Love you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Everyone be safe, be well, and we will see you all real soon.
Stay home. Bye.
Yeah, stay home. Bye.